my God. All right. Hold on, let me get my food because I just bought some seafood. Your girl is putting on a lot of weight, so I gotta slim it up a bit. Not saying we share bad and all, but we thick in the right places. But ew. All right, so I'm about to give you a little story time, but let me get set up real quick, okay? All right, hold on. Look at, look at this. Isn't this nice? Look at that. All right. All right. So let me see. Yeah, let me set up here. Damn, it's a little windy out here. All right, we all set now. All right. Oh shit, it's cold. It's definitely cold. They said it was gonna be in the 70s, but you know how they do. All right. Let me get my food first, because your girl is hungry. But let me show y'all what I got, right? I got me some yellow rice. Damn, they wrap this shit up real good. I like that. Seat there. Alright, I like that. Alright, some yellow rice. Let me move my foot. Later on, I'll probably tell y'all what spot I went to. Like, and your girl got herself some stuffed lobster tails. Ew. Alright. Oh, shit. Let me give you a little peek. Come on, make sure you catch this. I'm ready. Okay, okay, we gotta get this going. We gotta get this party going. All right, that's good and all. Yeah. All right, so let me see what story I'm gonna tell y'all today. I know which one, but I'm kind of nervous about telling it because it's one of the things I said I was gonna carry with me to the grave. You know what I mean? And I know everybody got those, but it's all cool. This is the time when I caught my ex having sex at the back of his job with some girl, right? But it was how it went down. So, I'm sure we've all been there, I think. Based on, we caught our ex cheating, we caught some kind of guy we was dealing with cheating, but anyways, they do their thing, right? All right. So I was in an 8-year relationship, and it was on and off. Why? Because he was a serial fucking cheater, and I was young, naive, kept giving chances, boom, 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 And he also had a baby mom, and he was back and forth with the baby mom, which I didn't know about, but this is how it went. Met him, nice guy. When I tell you, such a nice guy, a gentleman. When I met him at first, and we started living together. Shortly after we started dating, this was like 3 months after we started dating. We started living together. I stutter, FYI. All right, now move on. It was nice. He would call me when he's at work. He would come home early just to spend time with me and, do all, when I tell you he was doing all the good stuff when you first meet a guy, He was doing all the good stuff. And you know, we was in love, and he started getting abusive. So one night when he was at work, I decided to go out by myself. When I tell you I got a phone call from him, and he was waiting for me outside the club just because I told him I was at a club and I went by myself. This guy was waiting for me outside the club. When I got outside, oh my God, I'll take that one to the grave too. But let's move on. So, anyways, the first time I caught him cheating, he's a barber. The first time I caught him cheating, it was with this girl. So I was at home, right? We was at home, and his phone kept ringing. It kept ringing. It kept ringing. You know, and we sitting there chilling, watching TV. But when I tell you, this man would not answer the phone to save his life. He wouldn't answer the phone. I looked at him. I was like, "You're not gonna answer your phone?" He was like, "No, it's a telemarketer." You know, they call, but they don't call that much. You know what I mean? If you know, you know. They don't call that much. When I tell you the girl was ringing off his phone back to fucking back. And I'm looking at him like, yo, you not gonna answer the phone? He did not pick up. You know what I did? I called the number myself. That was one time, right? And guess what? Right after that, I left him and I went to live with my mom's. My mom was like, Nikki, why you here? You know, I caught him cheating again. She's like, oh my God. Like, she was so over it. Anyways, I stayed with my mom for a month. And guess what my dumbass did? I went right back, right? Mm-hmm. Hold on, let me take a bite of this lobster. Because I can't let this shit get cold on me now. Mm-mm. I'm sorry. We gotta get busy right now. Mm-mm. Gonna stuff in, man. Cloth. Mm. Mm. Mm-mm. So, mm. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh yeah, hold on. So, I went to live with my mom. I was there for a month. A month. Then I went back. You know, while I was there, he kept calling my phone. Calling my phone. He changed. He's not gonna do it no more. And when I tell you, my dumbass believed it. I sure did. I'm not gonna lie to you. We've all been there. Cause you just hoping for that nigga to change. You know what I mean? And let me tell you, when I went back, oh my God, the first fucking day, you know, he was at the house. He was at the house waiting for me and everything. He couldn't wait for me to come back. And when I tell you, he met me with flowers and it was nice. It was real cute. I'm not gonna lie to you, but for some reason, like my stomach felt like I had a weird feeling. I just felt like he was still hiding something from me. You know what I mean? And you get that anxiety feeling like. So I was a little 50-50, you know, even though I went back and stuff. But, anyways, you know, I saw him. I was happy to see him. You know, I tried to make it work. And he was like, you know, when you're in the makeup stages and like the guy's doing everything right to try to get you back on that same page. And, you know, when I tell you he was doing everything right, let me tell you something. Don't let no man tell you he's too busy to call you or text you because before, this nigga was not calling me or texting me when he was at work, which is throughout the day. But when I tell you, see, when I left his ass and came back, he was doing everything right. He had all the time in the fucking world for me. You hear that? Don't let no man. All right, I'm not gonna say it again. I'm gonna move on because they lying. They're definitely lying. All right. So you know, like I said, something ain't feel right. something doesn't feel right. And I was watching him closely because I just felt like he wasn't done or he wasn't being honest about something. So one day I put a listening device in his car because I said something about when I call him and he's in the car when he will come home, when he's on his way home from work, like he act like he can't talk to me. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, this nigga's with a girl in the car. Like, you doing your little runs before you get home. They do that. When I say, if you know, you know. They'll either call the girl before they come home. They'll go see the girl before they come home. They're gonna link up with that bitch. I'm telling you, they side piece because they try to still keep that connect. They're trying to still keep that plug before they go around wifey. I'm telling you. Anyways, I feel like something wasn't right, so I put a listening device in his car. Child, when I tell you, you see when I listen to that shit, guess what? It was the same bitch. So he never left her. And guess what? I didn't say a word. And I know a lot of women they do that. Like we know stuff and we will hold it until we ready to leave that nigga. You know what I mean? Because you know you still got love for him and everything. So you know if you tell him, oh, I know you're doing such and such and I'm gonna leave you. Oh please, girl, you know you ain't going nowhere. And even if you do leave, you coming right the fuck back. What? In a couple days, a week. So you might as well just eat your info and wait until you're ready to bounce. You know what I mean? All right. Anyways, it was the same bitch. He wasn't done with her. I ain't say a word. This went on for months, right? I act like I ain't know nothing. I was still showing love, doing everything I was supposed to do. You know? Yeah. And hold on, getting cold. Mm, so you know, almost every day, almost every day he would bring me home flowers every day, and I don't know why the fuck he would do that. Luckily, I'm telling you, that man was trying. He was trying while he was doing his shit. He was trying, you know? But I was close with his moms, and I didn't tell her nothing. That he was still doing his thing, and every day just ate my heart up. Like, it's hard to swallow that shit and wait for the right time. You know what I mean? And you sitting there in discomfort, anxiety and shit. The shit don't feel good, and a lot of men don't understand that, right? So that shit was good. So I remember one day he came home, right? And I was just sitting on the bed watching TV. But when I tell you I was so fucking unhappy, I was very unhappy. And he was like, "What's wrong with you? You alright? Baby, you alright?" Fuck. Goodbye. You know what I mean? Good the fuck bye. So I think you slick. Like that shit used to piss me off. He would come home trying to give me kisses and shit. Like that shit used to piss me off. But I remember he came home. He was like I couldn't hold it anymore. He was like, "Babe, you alright?" So I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay." He was like, "You sure? But your face don't look right." Cause I'm telling you, my face it says everything. I was like, nah, I'm good. I just have a stomach ache. No such thing. No such thing, girl. Leaving. He my space and shit. Couldn't wait for him to bounce. Right? This kind of cold. I gotta hurry up. And anyways, he kept begging me to tell him like what's wrong. But when I tell you, he was trying his hardest to make home, but it wasn't really home. Anyways, I ain't saying nothing. I just kept going about my day, doing what the fuck I was doing. His birthday was coming up, right? Guess what? He didn't tell me they was having a birthday party for him. This nigga did not tell me his friends were having a birthday party for him. And I kept asking him like, babe, what you want to do for your birthday? He said nothing. I'm just going to go to work, hang out with the guys. And oh, I'm telling you, gotta watch them. I'm just pay attention to what they tell you and what they do. Their words and their actions don't match. Something's up. I'm telling you. So I was like, you sure? Because when I tell you, I was with him for 8, 9 years, and he always wanted to do something on his birthday. Always, because that shit is important to him. He's one of those. And he was like, no, I don't want to do nothing. I'm just going to work and hang out with the guys. I said, all right, cool, no problem. So I was watching his movements, like, up until his birthday. And I noticed he was like, oh, he's going to go to the mall. I'm like, you don't want me to come? No, honey, you could stay home and relax because I wasn't working at the time. He told me I didn't have to work. I could just stay home and chill and whatever. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, nah, something don't. You going to the mall. The day before that, you was hanging out late. You came home at 12 something. I don't do that because I like giving men curfew. I like giving the niggas I talk to curfew because a girl like me, I don't sleep well if my nigga's outside too late. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't really like that hanging out shit. Like, you need to be home being safe up under me. You know, that's just how I am. Like, it's not being possessive, it's not being controlling. I just feel better when they're with me at a certain time and not being outside, because there's nothing the fuck out there, right? So anyways, he had a curfew. His curfew was 10 o'clock. Yeah, 10 o'clock, girl. Guess what? He was outside until, I don't want to lie to you, I want to tell you exactly. He was outside until like after 1. First of all, he called me around 7 something. It was 7 something, I remember. I said, oh, I'm just going to drink with the guys. I'm coming home late. I thought you was coming home around 10:30, 11 o'clock. I wasn't looking for no after 1 o'clock. All right. I ain't say nothing. I ain't text. I ain't call. I just said, okay, have a good time. You know, with the guys and such. It's fine. Whatever. I don't know what came over me, but I had a weird feeling. Like, when I'm telling you, like, as a woman, when your intuition kicks the fuck out of you, I'm telling you, pay attention to that shit. I got the hardest kick in my stomach, and I kept pacing back and forth in the house, like, nah, something don't feel right. That anxiety shit. And I'm like, nah, something don't feel right. I'm walking back and forth. I'm like, nah, you know I'm about to pull up. I thought about that shit for a minute because I don't pull up. I said, you know I'm about to pull up. Listen, when I pulled up outside, what? And I went to the job, right? And I went in the job, inside the job, right? And I saw him, and I saw another bitch next to him. And I was like, wait, when I tell you I was mute at first because, who the fuck is that? When I tell you I was mute at first because if you know Geminis, you know. That's a lot was going on in this head. I walked up and I was like, okay, what what's going on here? When I tell you she was so fucking nervous, he was so fucking nervous. Like he didn't even say nothing. Like he didn't know what the fuck to do. And I'm looking like, okay, like somebody needs to speak. What the fuck is going on here? Like talk. She walked out and I did like this to him. Meaning I'll be back. I followed that bitch, right? Went outside. I said, come here. Come here. That bitch was nervous. Yeah, I almost took her head off. Right? Not gonna lie to you, I almost did. I said, come here. I said, what's your name? I forgot what she said her name was. I said, why you here? Y'all go together like you with him? I said, you with him? She said, kid, that's my boyfriend. I said, oh, okay. How long you guys been together? She said 6 months. I said, oh, that's a long time. I said, have you ever been to his house? She said, yeah, I used to always go there, but now his daughter live with him. Guess who's the daughter? Me. You see the excuses they come up with? And her friend was standing there. Her friend didn't say nothing. I think the friend peeped what was going on, but that bitch was dumb. But I said, well, ask her if she ever been to the house. Yeah. And I said, I'm his girl. She was like, what? I said, yeah. I'm his girl. And y'all been together for 6 months? I said, we've been together for 7 and change. I'm telling you, it was so many cheatings, but I'm just telling y'all a good one. 7 and change. She was like, oh my God. He told me he was single. He told me he got a baby mom's. He told me he got a daughter. I thought that was it. No, girl, there's also me. And here's a ring. Because he bought me some ring. It was like a promise ring. And I was like, and also here's a ring. She was like, oh my God. She said, you know what? I'm done with him. So guess what? I said to her, nah. And the thing is, I pulled up with a friend of mine's, right? But she didn't come inside. She was in the car. I said to her, oh shit. I said to her, I want you to get in the car. Come here. When I tell you that girl was so scared, she shook her head. No, I was like, come here, get in the car. Because I'm not going to lie, I wanted to tap her a little bit. Like, I wanted to hit somebody a little bit. And I was like, get in the car. She said, she started walking mad fast. She went straight up the block, right? I was driving behind her. Then she made a right. Then she made it right. And I pulled up next to her. I said, and I jumped out. I said, come in the car. Get in the car. Let me show you what I did. I did some shit like this. Let me show y'all what I did. So, she's on the sidewalk, right? She's walking. She made her turn. I made mine in the car. She made that right turn. I went, whoop, whoop. Jumped out the car real quick. Went right here. Get in the car. Get in the car. Get in the car. She's like, no, 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 I'm not. I said, you need to get in the car. Get in the car. Her friend backing up this way. My friend is sitting in the car. I said, you need to get in the car. I opened the fucking door. Because I'm blocking her. You're not going nowhere. I want you to go to fucking the car. We need to do something. That bitch bolted. She, right, right? That bitch, she did. So I let her be. So I went back around the corner to the job. I went in there and I said, yo, when I walked up to him, right? His face was like, damn, this is it. I said, yeah, I'm gonna see you at the crib. Oh man. This is why I keep these things to myself because I tell you, not everything is for the people, but I want y'all to know me a little bit. You know what I mean? So, anyways, and I said, I'm gonna see you at the crib. Anyways, he said, all right, love you. I left. Went home. He came home. No hug, no nothing. Guess what? That same night he was going out again. He was going out. And guess what? Something didn't feel right. My stomach was eating me. And when I called him and I said, yo, what time you coming home? He was like, I'm coming home around 11, 12 o'clock. I said, all right, no problem. Tell me why when I call him back, he wasn't answering the phone. You know what I did? I took a fucking cab because I had loaned the car to somebody. Anyways, that's another story. I took a fucking cab and I went to the job. And the job has like a see-through glass at the front. So I realized I didn't see him in the front. So they have like a big, like a backyard where you can have parties and whatever and stuff like that. When I tell you, when I started walking around to the side and I heard, ah, ah, somebody was moan. When I tell you she was loud, she was loud. But guess what? I couldn't see, and then I called his phone again. Nobody answered the phone. I said, "Oh man, don't tell me this is what the fuck I ran into." You know, I climbed the fence. I'm Jamaican, and I never climbed nothing in my life. When I say nothing, I mean nothing. I kid you not. I climbed the fucking fence and I scraped my leg right here. And when I jumped down, I said, "Oh shit." Walked up a little bit, and that was him. The bitch was bent over on the front in the passenger seat. She was standing up though, and he was behind her. And I stood there like this and I watched. I watched. And I said, damn, you know, I came back, it's on me. I definitely shouldn't have. And I just took out my phone and I went, "Pow." I threw that shit right in his fucking head. And he turned around and he was so fucking surprised. And that bitch, she jumped in the car and she locked the door. And he was trying to talk to me, but I wasn't trying to hear nothing. You know what I mean? I went back to the house, packed all my stuff. I scratched Cheetah on his truck. I went outside and I said, you know what, fuck this. I scratched Cheetah on his car. I stabbed at the seats with a knife. I smashed the windshield. Yeah, and I got my stuff and I left. And that was that, you know? So, word of advice, if he cheat one time, leave him. Honestly, you should. If he lie one time, leave him. He's a liar. Don't give these men chances out here because they'll definitely take advantage. I tell you that much. And that's fucking facts. If you got a real man, you know what a real man feels like. But a boy being sneaky and playing fucking games, you know what that feels like too. So, hope you listen to what I'm saying, because this is coming from the heart. So do what you will, but that's my story, and yeah, peace out.